final score, Briton Ferry 2, Wrexham 2. And, okay, our 7-match winning streak comes to an end, but let's not get too concerned by that. This is a hell of a result. There's a number of ways to look at this, all of which are positive in my eyes, because, I mean, look at what happened when we went there at the start of Phase 1, and we couldn't match their intensity, but this time we did. I mean, Briton Ferry are, in all respects, such a tough team to play. They're physically strong, very direct. Their game plan is based around fighting for second balls. They're looking to knock long balls and then create loose balls in the opponent's half, and then they will fight and try and win that and grind their way up the pitch. It's tough work. You can't afford to switch off for a moment. You can't afford to make errors, and you've got to try and win your individual battles, and you've got to be ready to fight in games against opposition like that, especially at Old Road, their ground. The pitch is tight, it's got a pronounced slope from one side to the other, it's hard to play on, and they, because the pitch is tight, are able to close down those spaces and put pressure on you all the time. It's an intense experience. TNS got a draw there at the start of the season. Cardiff won there at the start of Phase 2 and are a bit lucky to do so, and now we've drawn there. They're the only home points they've dropped all season. This was a terrific day for this team to show the spirit I've always been talking about and stand up and be counted against a side who, as well, let's be honest, let's remember, are second in the table. And there was a point near the end of this match where you wondered whether they would get into a fantastic position to nick the title from Cardiff, because there's a point when it's 2-2 in our game where Cardiff are losing 2-0 at TNS, and the gap is suddenly going to come down. Briton Ferry on the last day of the season play Cardiff, and you think, hello, we're going to have a situation where they're 2 points behind going into the last 3 matches, and if they could nick a winner. Although, to be fair as well, if we could nick a winner, you might almost start dreaming. But anyway, there was no winner, and Cardiff astonishingly scored 3 goals in 4 minutes and won at TNS, and as a result, Briton Ferry can still get more points than them, but that's not going to happen now, surely. I mean, who's ever heard of a team like winning their last 3 matches, including the last one on their other opponent's home patch, while the opponent drops lots of points and, oh, wait a minute, maybe that has happened before. Anyway, I digress. I don't know. Surely there's not another miracle of Swansea coming up. Going back to this game, anyway, we had a couple of changes. Katie Sharp came back in to the back, which I think was inevitable simply because she is so good in the air, and we need people who are good in the air against Briton Ferry. Although Alison Witts was not chosen, their target striker, she was on the bench and stayed on the bench throughout, even when they were pushing for the win. And if yellow, she may have been suspended for the racecourse, and then at the other end, in midfield, I beg your pardon, Nat Clark also got over the knock she got in training and was able to come in. And again, the sort of play you want in this sort of game in midfield, to battle and fight for everything. Now, these sort of games are always, as I always say, about imposing our style on the opposition. We want to get the ball down and play. They want to keep it in the air and keep it scrappy. And for the first 10 minutes, my word, did we play it on our terms. We were sensational in the first 10 minutes. The passing and rotation, again, was fabulous. It was just like watching us against Pontypridd. Briton Ferry were penned into their penalty area. We didn't manage to really make a clear-cut chance. That was the only thing that was lacking, but it was fabulous to watch. However, just after the 10th minute, Briton Ferry started to get their game going, and then we were starting to get penned in. They took the lead after a quarter of an hour when Maya Owen, driving down the left, cut inside, running into the box at Karen Allen. She cut inside her. Allen stretched to try and make a challenge and played the player, and it's a penalty, no dispute about it. Megan Curl stepped up and put it in the corner, no problem for her, and we were behind, and the game had changed by then. The difficulty playing against these sort of long ball teams is that it's going to be hard to shift the momentum and reimpose yourself. And for a good 25 minutes, or nearly 25 minutes, it looked like they would take control, but we stood up well and restricted their opportunities. They made another chance 10 minutes later from a set piece, a free kick into the box. Craven came for it and punched, but the punch hit Richardson on the edge of the box, fell kindly for the striker. Craven did really well to stand up and make sure that Richardson couldn't see much of the goal, and she saved it with her leg. Good piece of goalkeeping by her. A couple of minutes later, another moment of danger which Craven would repel superbly. Again, a high ball forwards, and Richardson manages to ride Clark's tackle, and Smithen did, and feed Richardson on the right channel. Richardson does really well to get a shot off. It's not the kindest of angles, and she absolutely nails it across Craven, who full stretch just gets a touch on it to push it onto the post, and it ricochets away to safety. But like I said, they're the team with the goal threat. We win a corner, but they clear it and break really well. They've got Jade Crofts up front, who you may remember played up front for Cumbrae Celtic when we played at their place in the Welsh Cup, and she was the Adran Trophy. She was superb, all on her own. You could see that she had the quality to play at the top level. She was quick, she could hold the ball up well, and she was like a one-player attack almost for Cumbrae Celtic, and kept us the tie going because she had such threat. She scored a goal. We won 4-1 in the end. Well, she's moved to Briton Ferry, and she's exactly the same player. She was so dangerous, so they hit her. It wouldn't be the last time that she's isolated, but it doesn't matter because she's running at us and she's loving it. And she, on this occasion, cuts to the right. Now, massive credit to Amber Lightfoot, who's been beaten on the halfway line by Crofts' terrific pace, but has stuck with her and manages to lunge in when she sees that Crofts is looking to hit a shot before she runs out of angle, and forces her to try a chip, which she puts off target. Also, huge credit to Brooke Cairns, who makes a terrific covering run, because there's also a Briton Ferry player looking to keep up with Crofts and offer, and Cairns does brilliantly to get back so the pass isn't on, and so Crofts' effort, because of Lightfoot's pressure, goes wide. 3 minutes later though, off she goes again on her own. Crofts driving down the right hand side again, engages the entire back three for us, and having drawn them across, chips a fabulous ball into the far post, and Maya Owen has the simplest of headers to put in to make it 2-0, totally misjudges it and actually misheads it off the back of her head away from goal. A real let-off for Wrexham. It's got to be said though, Owen had her own let-off. She was a little fortunate to be on the pitch. Briton Ferry also are rough in terms of, when you play against them, you've been in a game. There was a lot of stuff going on off the ball. And the worst example of it was that at one point, after about half an hour, Wrexham were in the Briton Ferry half, and Owen lost the ball and lost her head, and remarkably turned her back on the ball, walked up to Brooke Cairns, who was on the floor having made a challenge, not a foul, and stamped on it. Now, luckily for Cairns, she didn't make a proper contact on her. The ref saw it though and books Owen. I can't get my head around how a ref can see that and give a yellow. I've got to be honest. A player actually decides, I'm going to stop playing in this match, walk away from the ball and stamp on somebody. The card is not yellow. I mean, come on. It was a remarkable thing. They did sub her in the second half after she'd made another challenge that was a borderline yellow. Essentially, I mean, we didn't get the ref you'd want against Briton Ferry because, like I said, they are extremely physical. They sometimes get across the line. Teams do that. I'm not trying to be too harsh, although Owen was out of order. But you need a strong ref, and we didn't get one, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Anyway, so after that misheader from Owen, well, Wrexham within a minute are about to have the most fabulous spell of play, because within a minute we win a free kick on the right. Lily Jones puts a beauty into the far post. Abby Iddington gets up superbly in the crowd, heads it against the post. It comes back out. Cara Jones attacks it, doesn't make contact, but she attacks it and forces the two defenders who are attacking it to collide, and the ball skips kindly for Iddington and she lashes it into the net from close range to equalise. Absolutely fantastic. And it's, there's better to come, because astonishingly, 74 seconds later, we're winning. From the restart, we get the ball back. The ball falls to Suckley, who launches a bit of an up and under into the edge of the Briton Ferry box. Iddington does really well just to get there, I mean, it's dropping vertically at pace. It's a very difficult ball to control. She kills it. She controls it beautifully and then just flicks it between her own legs to try and cut in and make space for a shot herself. She can't get that shot off, but she has very good awareness. And so she rolls it in, and a wonderful finish by Suckley, who runs onto it. First time left foot finish from the edge of the box, right in the bottom left corner. Keeper's got no chance and we're ahead. And for the remainder of the half, as we are really, again, we've really got our game going, it looks like we could get a third and kill the game off, but we aren't able to do that. The second half, Briton Ferry are able to establish again how they want to play. We start it well, but then the game starts to turn against us. There's a corner that is swept in, and Crofts, arriving at the far post, just can't quite control her header and puts it off target. Very close in, but a tight angle and arriving too high for her. But it's a temporary stay of execution because within a minute they have equalised. And frustrating again for the excellent Craven. The ball is played forwards again. It's Crofts cutting inside in the left channel, driving into the box. She does ever so well. She cuts onto her right foot. She's just outside the 6-yard box, and she looks like she's going to score. Craven makes an outstanding save, coming out, making herself big, and then when Crofts drills a powerful shot low to her left, Craven gets down and saves it superbly. But unfortunately for her, the ball drops to Megan Curl, who slots the ball home, and it's equal. It's level. We respond pretty well. On the hour, well, we have a moment where it just looks like we've got a stroke of luck and we're in the lead again. Lily Jones with a free kick, but she drills in. It takes a big deflection. Courtney Young, the keeper, has already committed herself and dived, and the big deflection just looks like it's going to send it trickling past her while she's on the floor, but it actually deflects more towards her, bizarrely, and she's able to lie on the floor and gratefully grab hold of it. Then there's danger from a free kick at the other end, lofted into the box, Sharp on the stretch, can't make a proper contact, and a slice clearance falls for Curl. But luckily again for Wrexham, Lightfoot has been diligent. She keeps tight to her, gets across her, and forces Curl to steer the ball into the side netting from 10 yards out. With 16 minutes left, we make a couple of changes to freshen things up, and Rosie Hughes comes on, and so too does Mary Gibbard. And it's really interesting what we look to do. Brooke Cairns comes off, and also Nat Clark comes off, the two of our midfielders, and Abby Iddenden drops into midfield. We've been doing some interesting stuff. For example, from restarts, from goal kicks, because Young kicks at a good distance, we'd actually been dropping both Iddenden and Suckley, who are both good in the air, back into midfield and pushing Brooke Cairns up as a striker, simply to win those battles in midfield. So now Iddenden, who obviously has got the wherewithal to be a midfielder, good passing range, good vision, but also is really good in the air, can now be in the middle of the pitch and scrap. And of course Mary Gibbard can as well, because she's also got that solidity about her game. We have a testing free kick, which Lily Jones rips into the box again. Densmore does really well to just get there ahead of Allen, who's looking to head it into the net. In the last minute, Amber Lightfoot gets a break, Rebecca Pritchard comes on, and Cara Jones switches wings, and in added time, Briton Ferry keep pushing, trying to achieve something. The first chance they make in the first minute of added time is a bit frustrating for us. A free kick in midfield, lofted into the edge of the area. It's a bit too easy, frankly, for Richardson to peel away off her markers and have a sight of goal, but she steers wide from the edge of the box. But a rare occasion of us just switching off a bit at the back. And then in the final minute of added time, Karen Allen's beaten to a ball in midfield, and the ball drops for Powell, who's come off the bench, who carries it forwards and hits a rasping shot from about 25 yards. But Craven's looking comfortable. It's always going just wide of her right post. And we emerge with the 2-2 draw. And it's, like I said, an admirable outcome. Looking at the performances, it's a different type of football match to what we're usually having, because it's a battle, and huge credit to all the players for standing up to the scrap. Craven was terrific in goal. You need your goalkeeper to show, and she comes for a lot in the air. Handling's really good. Beg your pardon. And she's also makes a number of good saves too. It's what you need in a game like that, against opposition like that, and she does really, really well. The three centre-backs, again, stood really firm and were impressive. Allen had Owen running at her and she was difficult to handle, and Crofts indeed running all three of them was really impressive. But that's no reflection on the quality of the defenders. You've got to give players credit if they're able to carry the ball forwards effectively. I thought Sharp was terrific in the heart of it all, and again, it's her ability to see danger and cover on the back of the other centre backs is really pronounced in a game like this, and she did it on a number of occasions, and of course stood firm in the air. Erin Lovett again in the air. I mean, she's become such a terrific timer of headers and won a lot of battles and duels and tackles. Player of the match really comes down between Craven and Lovett, I would say, for me. And well, I mean, it's a tight call. I think I might just go Craven, but yeah, great performances by them. The wing backs, I mean, Cara Jones, it was hard for her to make all that much impact in terms of actually being creative, but she defended well and she battled extremely well, as she always does, which you need in a game like this. And likewise, Lightfoot didn't have much chance to really get at Briton Ferry, but her diligence and defence and her pace getting back to cover was very, very important for us. The midfield three, I mean, fought extremely hard. Not the sort of game that you're going to be asking Brooke Cairns to shine in, because it's more about rolling your sleeves and fighting, but she can do that element of it too. And so while she wasn't able to show what she has on the ball much, she still was battling. It was crucial to that part of the pitch, as indeed was Nat Clark, who again is drawn into battles and fighting and won her fair share of headers and tackles. Lily Jones did really well. Her delivery from free kicks was our most consistent source of danger, and of course she relishes a fight like that, and she was right in the middle of it all. The two strikers were excellent. The two strikers really troubled Briton Ferry. They were mobile, they worked hard, they did their physical bits. Abby in the midfield as well, or Suckley likes to drop off too, and they both got goals. Inden got the assist. They combined superbly and they continue to be fantastic. Suckley is now the top scorer in the Adran League, thanks to her goal, the outright top scorer. And Abby Inden is the top assist maker in the Adran League. Not bad. The substitutes did well. Rosie Hughes was really lively and sharp and threatening, and again you just thought, oh, she's the person who can come on and open these guys up, and she certainly did her part. She was running and in behind, running into channels, causing issues, using the ball intelligently. Mary Gibbard, I thought, was very good in the last 15 minutes as well. Really imposed herself. It was a smart double substitution, because Iddenden and Gibbard in midfield just gave fresh legs to a midfield which had worked so hard and, you know, frankly, earned a rest, and they did a really, really good job in there. Pritchard didn't even have enough time to be able to make an impact, but she, well, you know, put on a wing back in a situation like that, in a game like that. You've really got to be willing to work and make sure you don't let anyone down, which he certainly didn't. You can't afford to make a mistake. You can't afford to lose your concentration for a second against Briton Ferry, who can knock it forwards and strike very quickly. And so a really, really good point, a battling performance. Now we take them back to the racecourse, a bigger pitch where hopefully it's easier for us to impose ourselves and our style of play on them and hopefully get back to winning ways, although you can hardly complain about the results that we're getting, can you? Absolutely fantastic. Another creditable performance and a good result, with the final score of Briton Ferry 2, Wrexham 2. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham FC.